Folks, welcome to a very hot afternoon in central Mississippi. And I'm going to apologize to you real quick. I like to wear a long sleeve shirt to look nice for y'all on these videos. But folks, it's hot. I'm going to cheat just a little bit. I do have my cap on. Thank you, Alan, for that cap. But we're going to prepare for you today a Mexican casserole. Some people call this a Mexican lasagna. There's a lot of different ways that you can take this dish. I'm going to go very basic for you and tell you ways that you can experiment around and make this work. First thing we're going to do is get a skillet hot. We've had this cast iron skillet out here in the sunlight for a while because I don't believe in taking cast that's not fairly warm and putting it on a fire because I'm afraid it's going to crack. But we're going to put it right over the fire there, folks. And to that, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, okay? And we're going to let that come up to temperature while we talk just a few minutes. This dish we're going to make today has hamburger meat in it, but you can use chorizo, you can use pork, you can use chicken. But if you use chicken or anything like that, spice your meat up really good, folks, because it can get a little bland for you. But we've got right here 1.5 pounds, or it's actually 1.68 pounds according to the butcher, but it's about 1.5 pounds of ground meat. We're going to go ahead and add this to the skillet. This is going to cook fairly fast, folks, but I want to get this bunched up a little bit. We're a little downhill, but that's okay. Cooking outside, a lot of times you've got to improvise on what you're doing. And again, this is real hot fire. This is going to cook very, very quickly. While this browns just a little bit, we want to talk about our vegetables that we're going to add to this. First of all, we're going to have some diced onion. Now, most of this onion is diced up. I'm going to dice up a little bit here just to show you a little bit about a hash knife. Okay? Now, a lot of people use these different ways, and there's going to be a lot of TV chefs out there that's going to paint my fingers because I don't have my fingers in the right direction. But I'm this old and I still have every one of them. And we want to chop this up just into bite-sized pieces, something fairly uniform so it cooks good, nothing real big. This will get soft as the dish cooks, okay? But we want to give this just a very simple chop. You got a good rocking motion on your hash knife will help you chop things up very quickly. All right, now we're going to take this. I'm going to add this to the pan along with the other onion that we've already chopped up to save time on this video. And you can see that meat's already browning up, folks. It's not going to take long, trust me. I got a fire going here. Alright, to that we want to add some bell pepper, and again, bell pepper is easy to chop with a hash knife. Make you a couple of long strips. Now, a trick that I just didn't do is it cuts a little easier if you put the outside up, but sometimes some of us takes a little while to learn. We want to get that chopped up and do a good mid-sized piece. Okay, and this is yellow and a little red and a little green bell pepper that we've caught up. This dish gets kind of red, so I don't know that the color is going to make any difference. The next thing we're going to add is a diced jalapeno pepper. You can leave the seeds in or you can take the seeds out, folks. It's whichever way you think that needs to be done. And again, we're going to cook this as a casserole. What we're doing right now is just browning it up. We want to make sure the meat's not all clumpy. We want to get a little color to some of these vegetables. Now, salt and pepper on this dish is to taste. Okay, so I'm going to put a pretty good pinch of black pepper in there. I believe in seasoning a dish all the way through every step of that dish. We're going to add a little salt. We want to be a little careful on our salt Got a couple of things we're going to add to this that could make it salty. We have a heaping tablespoon of dark chili powder. We've got a heaping teaspoon of cumin. That was cumin. We've got a pinch of cayenne. Now we're adding the pinch of cayenne, and we had some jalapeno in there. It's two different kinds of heat. They come across a little bit different when you eat it. Give this a quick stir while we talk a little bit. I hope y'all are having a really good day. And again, this is going to cook relatively quick, folks. And we want to get it all stirred up. Make sure that ground meat is not lumped up. Now, one thing that's hard for me, and I've mentioned this before, I think, is coriander. This dish calls for coriander. We have several stores around the area, but I have a hard time finding coriander. And typically when I find it, it is a coarse coriander, such as this, okay? And I have to put it in a mortar and pestle to get that down into a powder. Okay, let me wipe my hands here, folks. All right, and we want 1 tablespoon of coriander. And you can see we've worked this in the mortar and pestle. It's not a perfect grind, but it's down there, and most of what's in there is the hull. There's a little bit more than a tablespoon in there, and we don't want to waste it. So we're just going to toss it off in there, folks. Give this another good stir. And 1 can of drained whole kernel corn. Now, I have seared this off before to give it a little color, but again, when we get all this mixed up, the color is really not going to make a big difference. But we want to add that corn to it. And then we also want to add about 20 ounces of your favorite picante sauce or salsa or anything like that. You can use a mild, a hot, whatever you want. This happens to be a medium. And we're going to add that to that. That's what I say, the color is going to change here, folks. I'm going to get this all well incorporated. And we're a little downhill that way, so grease seems to run to the other end of the pan. We're going to let all these flavors come together and make sure we don't have any clumps. And they're going good. We're going to let that simmer just a few minutes. Close up this coriander. We're going to add just a little bit more black pepper. Another good pinch of black pepper. Folks, I'm not shy on seasoning, but when I cook for people, I have to be careful that I don't over season a dish. And a good pinch of salt. Now, let's talk a little bit while this goes right here. When you use a jarred salsa like we used, the salt content can be up there kind of high. It also has a little different of a twang to it, and I think all of y'all know what I'm talking about. It's good for chips, it's good for eating that, it's good for nachos and things like that. The coriander in this dish will kind of level that out just a little bit and kind of help bring that together. The cumin obviously is a southwestern spice. The chili powder is going to add some flavor to it as well. Our vegetables are starting to get a little soft here, folks, and we're getting this well incorporated together. Now, you can add more chilies to this, more hot peppers. You can add anything that you want to. Again, I don't mind a real spicy dish. All right, we're going to be cooking this today, and we're going to be putting this in a 12-inch oven. I happen to have that oven right down here. We're going to be putting that in a 12-inch oven. And we're going to be baking this outside in that oven. I apologize cleaning up my mess. I'm going to have to get me a little bigger table, folks, I believe. But anyway, we're going to cook this in a 12-inch oven inside our smoker. Why are we using the smoker? Well, we were cooking some meat and we decided we didn't want to waste the fire, so we want to make us a dish, okay? And this is a standard 12-inch oven. One more quick stir. And that's all starting to look pretty good. Okay, how are we going to build this? Because I use the term lasagna, and you use tortillas, use corn tortillas in this, and the recipe actually calls for about 8-inch tortillas layered in there like a lasagna. Well, to me it gets a little mushy. So for some texture, I use these lime chips, tortilla chips. These are lime flavored. Lime's going to be okay in here. These will get soft as it cooks, but it won't get as soft as an already soft tortilla. And we're just kind of going to line some of them up on the bottom. Again, this is a casserole. Just kind of going to spread some out down here. Not very many, just a few. You can use different kinds of chips. Again, you can use flour if you want, or I prefer corn in this dish. Right, folks, this is just about ready for us to be talking about. So now y'all probably going to watch me burn myself, but pull that off the fire. Close the lid. And I got over here without a hot pad holder. Now we're going to go. See there? Everybody makes mistakes, and it's easy to do. All right, folks, we're going to let that kind of come to temperature just a little bit because it's really roaring. We want to get this all situated. Folks, I'm going to ask those of you that know me very well, especially my family, does anybody recognize this right here? If you do, be sure you comment on the video. This has been in my family for a long time, and I was actually the creator of that probably 55 years ago or so, probably. All right, now to this dish, we want to start spooning in our mixture. And we want to use this very expensive ladle. Okay, we want to get this kind of spread evenly around down in here. If you think you need some moisture, you're welcome to add a little tomato paste to this or something like that. But you don't have to get it solid in here, but we want to make about 2 layers of this. So we're going to get that in there. Maybe one more here. Okay. And now I bought some cheese. It's called Mexican cheese at the store. It's a blend of different cheeses. You can use whatever cheese you prefer. And I love cheese. I believe cheese and bacon and butter make everything better. So we're going to put a pretty hefty amount of cheese in here. Now folks, if you don't have good seasoning on your Dutch oven, you might have a little issue with it sticking. You may want to use some Pam or some cooking oil, because if you're not careful, this can get a little tough to get out. And we're going to repeat what we did before. We're going to come in here and layer out some chips. Again, these have a tendency to get soft as it cooks. I think our dog is over there. I think he's acting up a little bit. You may hear him chime in a minute. but we want to give this a little bit. We're going to come back and layer the rest of this in there on top. I think the dog's a little hungry maybe or something, I don't know. He's getting Lisa tickled. Alright folks, we got this mixture and we're going to get this put in here. And there goes the competition with the dog. I don't know what he's after. A while ago a butterfly flew by and he got all upset. He's just a ferocious dog. Be sure you get this evenly around and good distributed. Again, you can use chorizo, you can use any kind of meat you want. You can put black beans in here. If you put black beans in here, be sure you wash your black beans so that the whole thing doesn't turn purple, because if you use black beans, you know that that's going to happen. Alright folks, we got all that in here. We want to put one more big dose of cheese. And this is probably about 2 cups of total cheese. And that's about where I would quit, but we got that much left, right? Well, we ain't gonna waste that. Let's just go ahead and put that in there. I want to give it a good dousing of black pepper. And just a little bit of salt. And we're going to put the lid on this, folks. So we're going to put the lid on our Dutch oven. Now, if you're baking this in the oven, you want to bake that at about 350 to 375 for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then you want to take the lid off, put your broiler on, and get the cheese browned up on top. Okay, so we're going to be cooking it in the smoker. When we get ready to brown the top, we're going to have to put a little coals on top of the oven. All right, inside the smoker, we have metal grates. I've got a Dutch oven with legs, right? So your legs have a tendency to hang up in here, and when it's hot and you're trying to handle it, it gets all crazy. So improvising, I have these old things that came out of a wood stove at one time. You can use anything you want. A good thing to also use is a lid off another Dutch oven. Works really good, but hey, we didn't think about that at the time, so we're going to use this. There we go, that's pretty level. I'm going to put that in there, keep the airflow off just a little bit so it'll warm up, and we're good to go. Folks, again, I apologize, we're a little rusty. We had some bumps and hiccups and things like that in what we're doing today, and I done got dirty, so I can prove I was working. But we're going to let this go for a little bit. We're going to come back shortly and show you the end result. Hey everybody, welcome back out here. We've got this Mexican casserole just about done, folks. And like I told you, we baked it in the smoker, but then we put it down here to brown a little cheese on the top, and we put some coals on the top so that we could get it browned. Now there's a lot of different lid lifters out there. These grab and stuff. I'm a little more traditional, I guess you could say. And you can see this. We've got a little bit of pepper, got a little heavy on one spot for us, but you can see the cheese is starting to brown. And I believe that's going to be a pretty good dish right there. Now we're going to cheat. Instead of a hot pot pad, we're going to use our upside down dirty skillet. But it's going to work pretty good. Now folks, I'm going to let this cool just a minute and we're going to scoop it out. But just want to say, comment on our videos, let us know if we're doing any good. These get a little rough every once in a while. This is not easy, folks. You forget things, you mess up words, you get the camera pointed in the wrong direction, you do all kinds of things. But just comment on our videos, let us know how we're doing, what we could do different, kind of make this enjoyable for you. I prefer just a natural video, not very edited at all, so you can see the good and bad and the ugly. So let's see if we can take a look at this Mexican casserole. You can see we got plenty of cheese in there, folks. I'm not going to be shy. I'm going to get another bite. And then we use another one of them high dollar spoons. But you can take a look. We still see some of the color of some of the vegetables and the meat. And we obviously got a little browning on the cheese. Folks, and this is probably going to be hot, but I'm going to give it a whirl. I believe we're going to be eating good tonight. So folks, I just hope you enjoy this and hope you enjoy your day and enjoy everything you do. But as we end every one of our videos, especially enjoy your food.